elders. They place these idols in their favorite places of meeting. And they would remember look at these, and then they would perform deeds like their elders. This generation did not worship them. However, as time passed, generation after the other, the shaitan came to the very same people, that your forefathers used to worship these idols. This is why they made them. It is because of these idols that we receive rain. The shaitan tricked this generation, and they began to prostrate before these idols. The same happened in Makkah al-Mukarramah. Amr ibn Lu'ay goes to Sham. He sees idols. He asks these people, why are you prostrating before these idols? They reply, when we ask them for rain, they give us rain. And when we go for war and ask for conquest, fatah, they give us fatah. He brings back an idol to Makkah al-Mukarramah, and because he was one of those in charge, he orders the people of Makkah to worship and prostrate before this idol. Man is so weak that he begins to bow down before anything. They had two idols called Isaf and Naila, named after two people which belonged to the tribe of Jurham. This couple loved each other very much. They came together for Hajj. They came to the house of Allah, and at night when they saw the house of Allah empty, they entered the Kaaba and they committed sin right inside the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The punishment of Allah descended upon these people, and they were turned into stones. Next morning, when the people of Makkah realized what had happened and what these people had done, they took out these stones, placed one outside the Kaaba and placed one next to the well of Zamzam as a reminder to the people that they do not commit this sin. Man is weak. What happened? These very people that committed sin and the punishment of Allah descended upon them, these very stones later people began to prostrate before them, and they began to take these things as their gods. It got worse. Hajis thereafter, when they returned home to their homeland, they would take the stones of Haram, and wherever they resided or rested, they would place the stone there, and then they would begin to encircle it and begin to perform the tawaf, just like they performed the tawaf around the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is how weak man is. Now even those that commit sin in the house of Allah, time comes and then you see them, that these very nasty people, that they are bowing before these things and they have taken them as their gods. Now you may think, come on, this is the 21st century, nobody's going to return to idol worship today. We've even seen Mars, we've been to the moon, we've been to space. This is the time. Think. How many millions do we have in Hindustan, in India, prostrating before them? How many millions do we have in China prostrating before them? Sri Lanka, Taiwan, in every corner of the globe you see people prostrating before these things. And these people, some of them are highly educated intellectuals, the creme de la creme. Doctors, pharmacists, scientists, engineers, computer experts. How truthful the Quran is. إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. In spite of this intellect, in spite of being highly qualified, these people cannot see that these idols do not benefit and these idols do not harm. Many of them claim to be muwahhid, and then we celebrate their pagan festivals, and then we advertise their melas in our Islamic magazines, and then we call ourselves the true believers in the kalima la ilaha illallah. Very recently it was Valentine's Day. How many hundreds and thousands of Muslims worldwide celebrated this festival? Valentine's Day. In Egypt, a Muslim country, days before this celebration, young men and women are interviewed and they're asked what they will give to their beloveds on this day. Even hub, and it is known there, Valentine's Day, even hub cards are sold in nearly every shop. Chocolate and flowers are sold in nearly every shop, and this is a Muslim country. We celebrate Valentine's Day here. Many Muslims celebrate Valentine's Day here. Where does Valentine's Day come from? Valentine's Day is one of the celebrations of the pagan Greeks. The mushriks, Greek mushriks, they set a day aside in which they will worship the Lord God. When the Greeks embraced Christianity, they kept this day with them. Though a lot of other things are also being said with regard to the origination of this day. This is one of them. The legend goes that Romulus, the founder of Rome, as a child he was suckled by a female wolf. He was suckled by a female wolf, and this in turn gave him power, strength and wisdom. And the Greeks celebrated this day in remembrance of this thing that happened. They would slaughter a goat and wolf, slaughter a goat and a dog. And then they would choose 2 strong people from their tribe, from their community, and they would anoint their bodies with this blood. They would then cleanse this blood with milk. And then there would be a huge parade in which these 2 strong men would be at the forefront, and they would hit everybody that they passed. And the young women would come in front, so wanting to be hit because they believed that this hitting will cure them from infertility or prevent infertility. And then we say we are muwahid. Come Christmas and the wife says, Johnny, Christmas tree leoni, poida khush tai jadi, she says. The kids will get happy. We just see it as a tree. And when you tell a Muslim, it says, it's only a tree. What's going wrong, man? It's only a tree. What does this tree remind them of? The Christians write it reminds us of the very tree upon which Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam was crucified. Na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina. It contradicts the Quran. وَمَا قَتَلُوا وَمَا صَلَبُوا. And they did not kill him. Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, and no did they crucify Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. He was raised to the heavens. And we say it's only a tree. The kids will get happy. Where does this tree come from? In the 7th century, a priest from Crediton in Devonshire went to Germany to teach the word of God. He did good work there, as they say. The legend has it, he used the triangular shape of the fir tree, which is the Christmas tree, to describe the Holy Trinity of God, na'udhu billah shirk. The Holy Father, the Son, and the Spirit. And those people that came into Christianity would take this tree as God's tree. Something, no, it goes even further, well before Christianity came. At the time when evergreen plants or trees had a special meaning for people in winter. The ancient people would hang these evergreens upon their windows and doors, believing that these things cure illnesses, these things stop evil spirits from coming inside the house, stop ghosts from entering. The Romans celebrated a feast called Saturnalia, the early Romans, in honor of Saturn, the god of agriculture, by decorating their houses with these evergreens. Yet again, it is clear shirk, and we say it is only a tree, and our children will become happy at the time of Christmas. Why don't we take a lesson from the Americans? We seem to follow the Americans in every aspect in our daily life. In the way we dress, in the way we talk, in the way we speak, in the way we walk, in the way we drive our cars. In every aspect we are following the Americans. Why don't we follow the Americans in this aspect also? Which aspect? Very recently, the Pentagon placed an order with China for what? Black hats which the US Army would wear. When the US soldiers heard about this, they protested on the grounds that we will not wear anything made from an enemy country. They consider China as an enemy, and we will not wear anything made from an enemy country. They protested so much that President Bush told the Pentagon to review its decision. More than we celebrate our own, and we exchange gifts on their holy days. Yet Abu Hafs al-Kabir says, لو أن رجلا عبد الله 50 سنة ثم جاء اليوم النيروز وأهدى إلى بعض المشركين بيضة يريد تعظيم ذلك اليوم فقد كفر وحبط عمله. Abu Hafs al-Kabir rahmatullah alayhi says that if a person worships Allah for 50 years, he worships Allah. Then comes the day of Nowruz, a Persian festival, and this includes every other mushrikana religious festival. It says, comes the day of Nowruz, the Persian festival, and somebody gives just an egg to a mushrik as a gift with the intention of ta'zeem of that day, then this person has become a kafir and all his deeds are destroyed. Texts like this scares me because you and I, we are doing this without even realizing, and then we think that we are still Muslims.